Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. You already guessed it, in today's episode we're going to be taking a bike ride through the hood. While we do that, we're going to be talking about cell phones and why you might need two cell phones. Yeah, just like you were in the hood. Anyways, all right, let's get on the bike and talk about it. All right, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to do. A very busy day. Let's get going. So, you know, today's episode, as you guys already guessed it, it's going to be talking about cell phones. All right, hold on, let me make sure we're recording. All right, we are recording. All right, great. All right, that guy's already beating us to it. All right, so talking about cell phones and communication, because that's a very, very important topic, you know, for a lot of people. You know, a lot of you guys coming from whatever country you're coming from, you come out here to Mexico and you still need to communicate. You know, you need your cell phone. A lot of people, they just forget. They think that as soon as they come out here, that their cell phone's gonna automatically work. And in some cases it does. I mean, don't get me wrong, in a lot of cases, that's really how it works. Especially, you know, depending on the carrier you have, especially if you're coming from the US or Canada, mainly those countries, you'll be okay out here. But again, it's only gonna be limited and depending on your carrier and depending on many things. And if you're just coming out here on vacation or to explore, to just hang out for a little bit, you'll probably be more than fine with your cell phone provider. But if you need, you know, if you're moving out here and you're living out here, you're probably gonna need to upgrade your phone service situation for a lot of reasons. So, you know, a lot of people ask me about the whole cell phone situation, and I've talked about it in many capacities, but I think a lot of people, they still kind of don't understand the situations too much. So let me explain real simply, real quickly. I myself, I'm already a resident of Mexico. I live out here. You know, I have a completely different situation than some of you guys. Again, some of you guys are in my situation, but I digress. The reason you need two cell phones, or you need to have at least one cell phone connected to your home country, especially if you're in the US, definitely in the US, is because you need to access your bank. I mean, there's a bunch of other things, but you basically just need to access your bank. And there's a lot of things you need to access, and the only way you can access that is through your phone, your cell phone, all right? And then not just your cell phone, but the fact that it has to be connected to the grid in the US side of things, a US connected phone grid. And what do I mean by that? Well, the thing is, a lot of people think that, oh, I can just get an international phone, I can just get a phone that's a world phone, or not connected phone. What do you call those? Unlocked phones and shit like that. And like, yeah, those are great, those work amazing, until you need it for certain things like banking. And what do I mean? Well, it's very simple. You know, the thing is that this is now technology. Let's talk about technology for a minute. You know, boring technology. The reality is that like you already know that all these things are tracking us, all these things know everything about us, all these things have all this information on us. So it's the same thing. In order for you to connect to your American bank, you know, your Bank of America, your Wells Fargo, whatever American bank you use, well, you need an American phone, because it's not just about the number. It's not just about the phone number, because that's a separate thing we're going to talk about in a second. But what the main problem is that your phone, and by the way, this also includes Mexico. We're going to cover that in a second, and I'm sure whatever country you're out there, but your phone has all these computer chips in it that basically say, hey, if this US phone, this phone that's from the US, built and made to work in the US, if this phone all of a sudden is outside of the US, it can still work, but it cannot do certain things. And what are these certain things that it cannot do? Well, mainly banking. You know, banking is one of the main things. So, for example, when I had my American phone out here, right, and I was, you know, using it for all kinds of things, and it was working pretty good. All of a sudden, as soon as I tried to like install the Mexican banking app, it did not work. If I tried to install, hold on, one over here. If I tried to install, you know, other things from other countries, it didn't work. You know, especially when it came to like the banking aspect, or when it came to certain things like that. You know, when it came to, you know, your information and things that had to do with the country itself, I just couldn't do them. So eventually, when I got a Mexican bank account, I had to get a Mexican phone. And what do I mean by that? Well, I had to go to the local Telcel, aka the local phone company out here, and get a phone on the Mexican grid so that I can connect to the Mexican bank, my Mexican bank. And other things too. You know, let's just say that in Mexico there's a certain app that you got to download for XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can only download it on your Mexican phone. It's not going to work on your American phone or your Canadian phone or anything like that. And so it's the same thing. If you come out here and for whatever reason you lose or you don't have your American phone, well, good luck trying to access your bank or whatever with a Mexican phone. It's not going to work, because that Mexican phone or that phone from whatever other part of the world is connected to whatever grid. If it's a phone in Slovakia, that phone is only going to be able to really connect to the Slovakian grid. If it's Mexican grid, Canadian, American, and USA, all that shit's the same. So for a lot of you guys, now, why I am concentrating more on American citizens is because you know this. If you come from another part of the world, especially like Europe and stuff like that, you know, you're a lot more free to bank, and you're a lot more free to do things around the world. But unfortunately, if you're American, you're tied to the USA forever. Now, you can renounce your citizenship and yada, 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 but that's like a whole long thing, costs money. They have to approve you, you know. The US government has to say, hey, yeah, okay, you know, you pass the test, you know, so, you know, you can now renounce your whatever. But at the end of the day, outside of that, you're going to be connected to the USA forever. And that's good and it's bad, you know what I mean? But we're just talking about phones. We're talking about connecting to to your grid and all these other things. So what does that mean? So you as an American can live anywhere you want on Earth. Literally, you can live wherever you want on Earth, because you're still going to be an American citizen, and you're still going to have to uphold, you know, you're still, burdened with all the, you know, with a lot of the USA, you know, rules and regulations, and especially taxes, you know. But again, we're not talking about taxes. We're not talking about any of these things. We're just talking about why you need two phones. Now, you know, in my case, and I think a lot of you guys out there, but in my case, I have two phones. What do I mean? I got one phone, which is connected to the USA grid, and that's what I use for banking. That's what I use for a bunch of things. Okay? And a lot of you guys are probably thinking, whoa, isn't that cost you a lot of money? Because when you pay for your Mexican phone service, you tell us it's like 15 bucks a month. So, you know, now you're telling us that you got to get an American phone and you got to pay for that? No, 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 no. My American phone is just connected to Wi-Fi. I don't even have a phone number attached to that number anymore. I mean, yeah, sorry. I don't have a phone number attached to that phone anymore, because again, I am not connected to Verizon or AT&T or connected to T-Mobile or to any American company. The phone itself just comes from the USA. The wiring, the chips, everything inside is from the US, and that is all I need. So I download this app, and there's a bunch of apps, okay? I'm not gonna put it up on the screen or anything. You guys can figure it out. The app is called Text Now, all right? It's an app called Text Now, and there's a bunch of apps, guys, by the way. This is just the one that I happen to use, and there's a bunch of them out there that I use. You can use Google, you know, Google Phone, Google whatever, right? I forgot what it's called, Google Yeah, things like Google number, Google phone, whatever. That works sometimes, not really. It doesn't really work for like banking. It doesn't work for certain things. But this app and other apps like this actually give you a real number. They actually give you a real phone number that you can use and attach to your phone. So basically, my American phone, not connected to the USA grid when it comes to when it comes to having to have a number assigned to me by Verizon. No. My American phone with American chips in it is connected through Wi-Fi, okay? And that gives it an internet connection. That internet connection, all of a sudden allows it to access the internet, but because it is behind some special, mumbo jumbo software firewall, I can only access American things through this. So what do? I download another app. This app gives me an American number, and now I have an American number on an American phone, and now I can very easily, very quickly, not just access my bank, but in case I gotta call a 1-800 number, in case I gotta call the USA for XYZ, in case I gotta, no matter what I gotta do, accept the code. Sometimes, you're trying to get into your Facebook account, your Instagram account, your whatever account, and you need someone to text you a code. And again, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times the Mexican number works, but sometimes it doesn't. So you need the American phone, especially if you have a lot of things tied to the USA. And again, for anyone that knows, everyone needs and should have an address in the USA. I myself have an address in the USA. I myself have an address in the USA. I got a phone number. I got all these things. And I think most of you guys do as well. And if you don't, you should. Oh, there's a lot of traffic today out here. Interesting. All right. Let's get on the sidewalk here. But yeah. So you guys need to take that into question. Basically, when you're out here, for the longest time, basically, if you're here and you're just in a tourist visa, no matter how long you are going to be here for, you should be okay, more than okay. Just trying to cross over here. Here, hold on. Give me 1 second. Too many things going on at once here. Barely fit here. Okay. All right, we made it. All right. So, let me see. When we cross, no traffic. We can do it. All right. So, basically, like I was saying, if you're here on a tourist visa, you're here vacationing, you're here whatever, you should be fine. In fact, what you should do is contact your service provider, let them know you're coming out here, so just in case there is no service out here, you can get service out here. A lot of times, if you don't have already automatic free service out here, a lot of times it's not going to cost you too much more, maybe $5 more a month or something like that, to get unlimited calls, texts, and all kinds of things out here. But the thing is that when it comes to that, you're going to be a little bit more limited, because if you're here with Verizon or Sprint or whatever, even though they're amazing and they're connected and they have all these awesome things that will help you have a better experience, as a user, the reality is that, if you're connecting with Sprint or Verizon out here, you're roaming, you're connecting through 30 satellites, and at the end of the day, you're going through the Mexican internet, the Mexican satellites, and you're gonna have to connect to, at the very least, through Telcel, and I can go on and on. And so, eventually, if you're gonna be here for a long time, you're probably gonna be better getting a Mexican phone. And simply because by getting a Mexican phone, you will guarantee better service. When I'm talking about like connecting to the internet, to the grid, to the whatever. Because for example, again, like my Verizon phone might connect and it'll be all fine and hunky-dory and all that good stuff, but then all of a sudden, it's not gonna, maybe at some points it won't connect because there's just not a strong enough signal, the roaming thing, I could go on and on. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna be as strong, but while you have like, let's say Telcel, which is like a local monopoly service provider out here, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, you'll have service basically everywhere and anywhere. And again, if you're out here and you gotta have both phones or whatever, wouldn't it be a lot easier to just connect and pay for the Mexican phone service as opposed to paying hundreds of dollars or whatever, maybe not $100,000, but at least $100, at least 70, 80 bucks for your phone service when you can pay 15 bucks. So that's another thing too. You can connect your phone. All you gotta do is just get a Mexican SIM card. You know, you get a Mexican SIM card and you can connect it to your American phone. And you can, again, a lot of people, all you gotta do is just, you have your American phone, you just come out here, eventually you know, run out your service from the back in the USA, you get yourself a Telcel SIM card, you insert it into your phone. You might have to go to Telcel so they can configure it a little bit better for you. But long story short, once it's all said and done, you got your American phone with a Mexican SIM card connected to the Mexican grid and you're good to go. But like I said, you have an American phone, so you can only connect to the American grid when it comes to, you know, accessing things like the bank. Because the only thing you're going to be able to do is access the American bank. I mean, yeah, because eventually when you get a Mexican bank account or you're working with the Mexican bank, you need to have a Mexican phone because your American phone, even though it has a Mexican SIM card connected to the Mexican grid, the software, the pieces of technology inside that phone that are American or connected to the American grid will not allow you to connect to the Mexican phone, to the Mexican banking or the Mexican this or the Mexican that. So eventually, once you're out here for a while, you're gonna need to get that Mexican phone. Now granted, you know, phones out here are cheaper, technology here is cheaper. Now, I know, I've talked about it before, actually technology and electronics and all these things are way more expensive here. So if you're gonna buy the new iPhone, buy it in the US or buy it outside of Mexico. But if you're just like, let's say you need a phone to, you know, just to get shit done, just to move around, just to, you know what I mean? You can get a very cheap phone here for under 200 bucks and it's amazing, all right? Because all my Mexican phones, they don't go past 200. I remember back in the USA, most phones are like $1,000, 800 bucks, you know, just to get something serviceable. Not so much out here. So, let me see, yeah, we can take it, we got it. So, you know, that's the thing, guys, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the whole phone thing is a very, very important subject that, again, I've made other videos on, you know, just talking about the basics on how to use it, how to connect it out here, you know, when it comes to just going to OXXO, getting a SIM card and just being connected, to, you know, talking about why you need two cell phones, what the reality is when it comes to all that. Because remember, man, at the end of the day, especially if you're an American, you know, you're moving money. And you're moving money out here because you got to pay your bills, you got to live out here, and your money is coming from over there. How do you get it connected one to the other? And there's many ways to do this, as you guys already know, but I talk about things from a perspective of you know, the average Joe that doesn't have much. All right, and when you're the average Joe that doesn't have much, every penny counts, every dollar counts, everything counts. And so, you know, it's the same thing with all that, you know what I mean? And again, there's all these little hoops and all these little bits of information that most people just don't know or have no idea until they got to deal with it. And so I've already dealt with a lot of this stuff, so why not share with you all this experience, all this knowledge. I'll wait for the bus real quick here. In fact, let me see how long we've been recording already, guys. All right, we almost got an episode. Woohoo! But yeah, guys, I mean, you guys get it. You guys understand what I'm trying to say here with the whole phone situation. It's just like anything else, man. It's a learning curve. There's a lot more that we don't know, that you can only know from experience, from knowledge, from somebody telling you about these things, and that's, again, that's why I am here for. to help guide you through some of these things, through some of these minefields, because for some of you guys, you're never, ever, ever gonna need a Mexican phone. For some of you guys, you're probably gonna need that Mexican phone right away. You feel me? And things like that. Let me see, hopefully this guy, all right, definitely not paying attention. And that's the thing, guys. So in reality, I think that this will help a lot of people, because again, a lot of people, even if you're just your basic Joe, you're moving out here, you're coming to retire, or you have a job online and you get paid in dollars from your US bank account and you're trying to get money out here, you know, that's the thing. And so, like, for example, you know, a lot of people are like, whoa, I have the Cash App, I got PayPal, I have all these things. Well, the only way I can really connect to those things is with my American phone, And so that's why it's also very important to have that American phone, or that phone from whatever, because a lot of you guys are like, you know, you come into me from another country and you're like, hey, how come you don't use XYZ? All right, I'm gonna get over here. I'm almost at my destination. A lot of you guys are like, hey, how come you don't use XYZ app, or how come you don't use XYZ whatchamacallit, like program on your phone, or this or that, so you can get the better, or connect to this, or transfer money, do this. And the thing is, it's like exactly what I just said. I can't download an app from Spain or from England or from whatever on my Mexican phone or on my American phone. I would need a phone that's European compliant. And the same thing with the USA. Someone with a European phone cannot download Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, you know, just like I can't download on my American phone BBVA or Scotiabank or whatever other Mexican things out here. So that's, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg as to why you might need a second phone and the importance of all that stuff. But anyways, I'm basically here in my destination. I gotta walk a few blocks that way. I can't walk backwards. Well, literally I can't. You should see me. I trip and fall on my ass. Anyways, guys, you already know what's up. If you like this kind of content, you already know what to do. Don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit that bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for hanging out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to check out my website. I'm publishing things on all the other channels, and I got tons of free information on the website and all over the place. So if you really want the full, you know, the full everything experience of the Jose experience, all you got to do is just go to my website down below, josearteaga.com. All right, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.